Thanks for coming. We should have a few more of you, not of you because you're only one, but there should be more caregivers coming in. So, but we want to welcome you to our February in service. And we have Jerry from MAG, which I will let her tell you what MAG stands for and why they changed their name and all that stuff. But our caregivers of the month, their pictures are upstairs. You can look when you go upstairs. I don't remember who it is. I'll know as soon as I. Jillian. Jillian's one. Jillian's one. That's right. And you know what? I'll go up and look. She'll go up and look. But anyway, we appreciate all of you. And this, just as a reminder, this year we've started doing a monthly caregiver appreciation day. So once a month, we from 10 to 3, we have goodies and food, and we just want you to come in and just let us kind of love on you a little bit. When I train new caregivers, I tell them about Gary and how he started this company and how the way he loved all of us immediately and how just how Christ-like that love was. And I said, so we try to keep that going. I said, we want to love like family. And then I said, not fight like family, but love like family. So our next Caregiver Appreciation Day is March 1st. So put that in your calendars. And then we have our next in-service dates are on there as well. So get those in your calendars.
Jacob Johnson.
Oh, that's right. Jacob Johnston, who is actually leaving. He's been with us, but he is now officially going on to medical school. So, but he's been working for us while he was waiting for that. So he's going into medical school with a lot of caregiver training, which is great. So, all right, we're going to turn it over to Jerry, and I'll let you. I did an internship at MAG and got to meet Jerry a little bit, got to know Karen when she worked there, and it was fun. So I know we're going to have a great time. So
hopefully.
Yeah.
So do I understand right? We don't have the Aflac guy coming.
We do not.
So you actually have 45, 50 minutes. You have as long.
Okay.
Up to
do you guys want me to fill the time so you have stuff so you can stay here, or do you care?
We also have soup upstairs. So you.
Okay.
Yeah. 45.
Okay, we'll just see how it goes. Okay. So we are MAG, Aging and Family Services. We used to be called Mountain Land, if anybody has heard of that. We do Meals on Wheels. Most people associate those together. So we changed it to MAG, which is Mountain Land Association of Governments, because there are so many mountain lands out there that everybody kept getting it confused. And so that's why they changed it to MAG. So that's us. And I didn't try scrolling. Okay. So this is, we provide education, resources, all kinds of services for clients, because we want to empower them to be able to be successful in the community. And it helps them to be more independent. And so that's the idea for that. We have an unbiased insight, which helps people to make informed decisions. And unbiased, we don't have people paying us to do anything. So we're a very good neutral place for people to come to for any kind of like advice on insurance or what helps that are out there, and we can steer them to people in the community that might be able to support them. Okay, and next is, so you can see here we do a whole bunch of stuff for seniors and caregivers. So we have our everyday living programs. Those are our in-home programs, our meal programs. And then we do transition planning. So that would be more of your like education, your insurance assistance. We have long-term care help for, if there's any issues or anything that pop up in like a skilled nursing facility or assisted living or things like that. And options counseling is really nice. I don't know if you know what that is, but what that is when people call in and they just don't know where to go. They're just starting out, or maybe they've been giving care, or they've been needing help in the community for a while, but they just still are feeling a little lost. So this is somebody who can sit down with them, or even on the phone, just talk through what they're dealing with and help them to navigate the resources in the community. So they'll give them all that information and ideas of where they can go for help. We have volunteer opportunities. Like Diane said, she was an intern there. Support groups. We have a friendly caller program. So we're always looking for people who are willing to volunteer some time just to make a call to some people once a week, just to check in on them and help them to not feel isolated. And then we provide community education. I'll go into this in a little more detail. I'm not sure I have enough to fill 50 minutes, but we'll just see.
You know what? Don't worry about it. Just go as long as you do.
Okay. And then I'll ask questions of you guys too, just to see where you're at and what kinds of helps you need for the people that you're caring for. So we do the senior center meals. They're called congregate meals, and we provide meals to them on a daily basis, depending on the senior center. Some senior centers are open 2 or 3 times a week, but many are open 5 days a week. So we provide those meals there. And then we also do, which we include, like, we want people to go to those as much as possible because it also adds in that social aspect, so they have less isolation. And then we do the Meals on Wheels, where we have volunteers and we have drivers that we pay to take meals out Monday through Friday for people. So this program, it's for people who are 60 and older. They're homebound. We do have kind of a tier level. So there's tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. So on tier, I believe it's tier 1. I'm not really the guru on this, but those people who are in their home alone, they don't have anyone else helping them. They're the first ones that will get the meals. Then they'll look at people who might have a spouse that is caring for them. And even though the spouse may not qualify fully for the meal, that's the second tier. Third tier is if they live in a home and they have a caregiver living with them, like a son, daughter, somebody like that, but they're needing that assistance. That's tier 3. So the people in tier 1 get on right away, as long as there's not a wait list. We have started a wait list, but those who are living alone will get on first. And then it goes from, once that's filled up and there's no more to add, but we have funding, then we'll add the people on the next tiers. So if you refer them and they don't get on and you're wondering why, that might be why. Okay, so the next is we do in-home services. So I am a case manager for the in-home services. We have several different programs. I'm not going to go into detail on them all because it's complicated. So I'll just tell you, we have 2 programs, New Choices Waiver and Aging Waiver, that are Medicaid programs. Medicaid one is 65 and older. New Choices Waiver is just if they needed it. I believe it's 18 and older. Are you familiar with New Choices Waiver? No? Okay, so New Choices Waiver is good for you guys to know, because if you have people who are not doing well at home and they can't afford an assisted living, but they would qualify for a skilled nursing facility. So to qualify for skilled nursing, they have to have a need for at least 2 to 3 activities of daily living. You guys know what those are? I'm assuming, since you're caregivers. Okay. So if they have 2 or 3, like eating or dressing or toileting or incontinence care or whatever, then and they have a need for at least 2 of those, then they could go to a skilled nursing facility. If they're impoverished, the Medicaid can help pay for that, or that kind of service. And then, so these are Medicaid programs for people who have low income. And if they go in there and they really want to do an assisted living, they can be there for 90 days. They can get on New Choices Waiver, and New Choices Waiver will help them to pay to live in an assisted living facility. Okay, does that make sense? Okay, trying to keep it simple. The other one is Medicaid aging waiver. That one is to help people stay at home as long as possible using Medicaid funds. So we contract with you guys and some other agencies to provide care for our clients. And so that includes housekeeping, it includes adult companionship, it includes personal care, it includes, we can do any emergency buttons, we can provide meals, equipment in the home if they need it. And we can also pay caregivers privately if they have a family member that really needs to be paid because they can't work anymore and they're living with them. We can do that kind of thing. I'm trying to think what else. That's primarily it. There are a few more things that we can offer as well. I guess I've listed those. And then the non-medical transportation too, I believe you guys help with that, right? You take people places. So we can offer that kind of service. And we do incontinence supplies. We do the adult daycare. So we send quite a few people over to Aspen Senior Center, who provides the adult daycare. We have a couple other adult day services that are just in assisted living facilities. But Aspen is the only, I call it a standalone adult day center because they aren't associated with an assisted living. And then other services as needed. We just look at what people's needs are and see if we can get Medicaid to cover it. So, all right. And then we also have some state funded programs. There's one called Alternatives. There's one called the National Caregiver Support Program. All of our programs are based on income except for our caregiver program. So our caregiver program, it doesn't matter how much money someone has. As long as they have a caregiver, they can get on that program. It's kind of like a $1,500 grant in services that we set up and provide for them. And they can have $1,500 or a year's worth of service, whichever comes first. So probably many of your clients would qualify for that program. We do have wait lists on everything, but that one seems to, we seem to go through that one pretty quickly usually. So the next thing we do, we have our caregiver support program, and I started the caregiver support program in 1999 when I was 10. I'm just kidding. Anyway, so that's just, I don't look that old, right? So our caregiver program, we have coalitions. We serve Wasatch, Summit, and Utah counties. So we do all three. We're up in Heber, Park City, Colville, Hennifer, and then we also go clear down to Santaquin and Eagle Mountain and just that whole area. So we have two coalitions. One is in Wasatch Summit County area and one is in Utah County. And that coalition helps us with a lot of things. So Karen is going to start to participate on our coalition, which I'm really excited about. But we do some pretty great things. So the coalition assists with a few things. They assist with our support groups and our conferences and our additional activities that we do. And so since COVID, when COVID hit, we went straight to virtual support groups within a month, just because we didn't want our caregivers to not have any support. And we were doing that twice a week, which was a lot. So now that we've been able to be back in person, we've started groups slowly. And we have, I should hand you guys out these flyers. I think we have, I believe 5. Let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 support groups in person and then 1 virtual. And our virtual now meets once a week. And I should probably pass these out to you guys. I'll just hand that to you, and if you want to just pass it back. I wasn't sure how many to give you guys. I'll do the same over here. I think that's enough. So that one, that's our caregiver support groups. And then this is, I'll just hand them all out to you while we're doing this. Here's this. So this gives a better idea of what we do or what the support group purpose is. If I didn't give you enough, let me know. And then this next one is our general flyer for all of our programs. I'll just hand you the whole thing. So we are offering support groups. So we have a weekly group, and that one is really rolling. We have a lot of people on that. And a lot isn't what you're thinking. We typically like to have between 8 to 12 people in any support group because we want time for people to be able to vent and talk about what's going on for them. Our virtual group has gotten up to around 14 lately, and so we are toying with the idea of doing a different one, different time. Anyway, so we do have several groups. You can just look at this and see where those are. And then on the back of that one, it's education for caregivers on the back. We offer dealing with dementia courses, and we offer stress busting for caregivers. Both of those have been well received. They both offer a book that comes with it for free. It's a thick book, and some tips on stress and how to deal with your stress with meditation or different types of things that they do. It's really a great course for caregivers. The stress busting is a 9-week course, so it's a pretty committed course. And then the dealing with dementia is usually a 2-day or like a 4-hour block of time. And it's really a great course too. Karen was an instructor on that for a while. I'm trying to get her to do it again because she's a really good instructor. Anyway, so we are offering those to caregivers, and it comes with a really thick book too, for free. So if you have caregivers that you feel like really could use some help in understanding how to work with their loved ones with dementia, I'd steer them to us because I believe that this would really help them and make their life and their loved one's life better and easier. That's the whole goal, right? Anyway, so that's kind of as far as the trainings go, that's what we're doing. On this next one is joining a support group. It's kind of like why we do support groups, what you can get out of a group when you go. So it's reducing the feelings of isolation and loneliness. Caregivers, especially when they're caring for somebody with dementia, both of them tend to isolate, and they tend to feel very lonely and feel like especially the caregiver feels alone in what they're doing. And so to join a support group, even if that's all they got out of it, that, hey, I'm not alone and there are other people doing this and so I can do it, it kind of gives them some empowerment. And even if that's all they get out of it, is worth it. They come, they share their experiences and challenges and even triumphs, and we always talk about highlights. What was your highlight for the week or the month or whatever, and or something funny, or we try to make them very uplifting. And then we talk about the challenges that they face, and the whole goal in those groups is to give them tools and ideas of how they can work with their loved one in their particular scenarios. So it's very individualized, and everybody helps each other. So it's the candy of my job. That's what I call it. It's such a great thing. It's the candy of my job. It helps prevent burnout. Today I was talking to a caregiver on the phone, and she was just crying because she is so stressed out. And so I've been really strongly encouraging caregivers to attend whatever they can, because a lot of times you'll talk to them and they'll say, I'm too busy, I have way too much going on. Well, a lot of that busy time is the guilt the anxiety, the angst that comes with caregiving, that they're living in this space of trouble. And that takes up time. And when they can start to relieve some of that, let it go, then they can open up a lot more time for themselves. And so when I talked with caregivers about that, when they tell me I don't have time for this, they definitely have time for it, because it will free up a lot of time. It also will give them tools on how to work with their loved one and reduce the time it takes to get dressed, reduce the time it takes to go to bed or to eat, just because they've learned good skills and techniques to work with their loved one better. So I think we have a great program to help with these things. So they can connect with experts who are facilitating the groups, and they'll find emotional support through them. Let's see. The other thing we offer is conferences. So we do a huge conference. I don't know if anybody has ever attended one of our conferences. We hold them in November, usually the first Saturday or Friday in November. And they are really big. They're the biggest one in the state, and we've been told the best one in the state, which I'm proud of. And I started these conferences in 2002, and they've grown. And it took us a long time. We had the hardest time even getting up to 100 people coming. We were holding them at Orem Friendship Center, which was great. They had a great facility for it. And then we had a coalition member join us, Clea Harris, and Clea was a positive bull in a china closet. She was just amazing. And she found doTERRA for us, and doTERRA has offered their space to us. And it is a beautiful facility. We can hold more than 200 people there, which we have done. And so we do last year we had around 200 people in person and 250 online. So our conferences have been incredible. And Aspen has done booths there, and they have participated on our coalition in the past too. So they're a great resource for these things. So Aspen has actually participated in a lot of our activities. Our next activity will be March 27th. We are doing movies, a movie at Water Gardens in Pleasant Grove. And so that movie, we don't know what the movie will be, but it'll be in the morning around 10 a.m. And we get to have caregivers and their loved ones come for that. And then we offer concessions that Water Gardens provides for us, and we just pay for it, and they get to come for free and enjoy the movie in a safe place with their loved ones. So it's going to be really fun. That'll be March 27th. So if you know anybody, let them know about it. I don't have a flyer for that yet, but I'll try to get you guys some. Do you know people that would want to attend? Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Okay. I'll try to get you guys flyers when we get that. So on here it says music and memory. I don't believe we've done a whole lot with our music and memory program in a while. But I know Jewish Family Service does some music and memory stuff. And if you haven't heard of that, the music comes from a different side of the brain for a dementia person, and they can actually start singing, or they can do things that they normally hadn't done for years. But the idea of that is it's important to actually have the headphones, because it isolates that music to their ears and helps them to avoid some distractions so that they can participate a little bit more. But I think the music is amazing. Anyway, so I'll move on. So community education, we talked a little bit about dealing with dementia. I talked about most of this, but Medicare 101 is for people who are just starting out and don't know what to do with Medicare. So this teaches people a little bit about Medicare, what you can expect, when to apply, all those things. So it's a really great course. The Dementia Dialogues course, we primarily promote that to professionals. So when we do that course, it would be for people like you to attend that kind of course. And I'm one of the instructors for dealing with Dementia Dialogues. Anyway, it's a really great course too. Additional services we do. So we talked a little bit about options counseling, where they can get ideas of what resources are available to them. And then long-term care ombudsman. Have you heard of that? No. So when somebody's in an assisted living or in a skilled nursing facility, sometimes they have struggles or issues or problems in that facility that they struggle to get resolved with the administration. So what they can do is they can call an ombudsman, and the ombudsman will come in and be a liaison between the administration and the resident of the facility and help them work out their differences. It's a really great program. We have some amazing ombudsmen. Yeah. Did you ever do that or no? Okay. We have the Medicare counseling. We have Christine is in our office, and she was a insurance agent before she started with us, and so she knows her stuff really well. And people come in and just sit with her and go over what their Medicare situations are, or if they want to change, or if they're not really sure where to go, whether to do an Advantage plan or a supplemental plan or whatever. She can help them with that and figure out what program's best for them that will cover all of their medications and whatever services they're wanting. Volunteer opportunities. We always have volunteers for Meals on Wheels. We have sites in different places where if you wanted to donate your lunchtime, you just go to the site, get the meal, and just take it to like 8 to 10 people during your lunch break once a week. It's a great opportunity. It's fun. You guys all are already doing a lot of service just in your job. So if you didn't do it, I wouldn't be surprised. Retired and senior volunteer program. That's for people 55 and older that want to volunteer in the community. And they can do all different types of things. They can help in the schools. They can help just with, I've seen them help at desks at some of the government offices just to be an information source, but they have various stations. And then we talked about the Friendly Caller program. And one thing about the Friendly Caller program that I think is great is if there are people who even are homebound themselves, but they're alert and aware and they want to make a difference still, this is a great program for them, because you don't really have to leave your home, and if that's a struggle, but they can still communicate and converse, this is a really great volunteer opportunity. Yeah. So keep that in mind for the people you help. It might even help, other people that are living in the home, maybe a spouse that could have some other connection with someone else that might be beneficial for them, just to have some more socialization. And also, if you have people who are alone that need that call, refer them to us too. We offer the HEAT program. So the HEAT program helps pay for utilities. And how are you? Good. Anyway, so if there's people who have low income and they're really struggling to keep the lights on, or the house heated, or that kind of thing, and it doesn't matter what age, if they're impoverished and they meet the guidelines for this, the age doesn't matter. But we offer the HEAT program for people with low income. We also offer weatherization program. So you can see it's households who make 200% or less of the federal poverty level. And then they have to be owners. It does say renters are eligible. Renters need owners' approval. So they have to get like a signed paper from the owner. And that would be to help with heating, help with, sometimes we have done AC units before. I don't know that they're doing those right now in the summer, but every once in a while when they have extra funding, they can do AC units. Weatherization can go in and just see where there's deficiencies in just overall energy in the home, and they can seal things up. They can help with a lot. So I've seen them do a number of things on people's homes. So if you have people's homes whose homes aren't really functioning that well, and they don't have the funds to make them function very well, this is a great opportunity. So these are some of the things that they can do. I'm not all that familiar with this because I don't do this program, but I do refer people to them. So if I think somebody needs something, I'll just refer them. And then they will go through, they'll come to the home, they'll see what all the needs are and figure out what it is that they can do to help them, which is nice that you don't have to know every little thing. Yeah. So this is actually a good program for people who need it. We offer a senior help guide, and I should have brought some. Do you guys have any? Okay, all right. So we update this every year or two, and it's updated in online on our website on a regular basis. This is a really great place to go if people are saying, I really need to get an emergency button. I'm not sure where to go or who to go to, or I need help with home health. Where would you recommend? And we have a whole list of all the home health agencies. We have personal care agencies. If they, need help with caregiving, then we have a whole section on caregiving that they can look into and see what would benefit them the most. So it's a really great resource. We have the book that they can have on hand in their homes, and then they can also go online. So we offer both because we know some people aren't that internet savvy still. So, and we have a lot of clients and people who really struggle with that. So the books are really great. And if you have somebody who needs a book, then we can always get that for them. And we have a senior helpline. If they need assistance, we're available Monday through Thursday from 7:30 to 5:30. And they can also go to our website too to ask for some help. I think that's it. So do you have any questions for me? I guess I should log out first.
I have a comment.
Okay.
My mother had, thank you. All right. My mother had dementia and I took care of her. I had no idea, not much idea about dementia. I mean, I had a vague idea, but, I cared for her until she passed away. But it wasn't until I went online and looked up about dementia and found out all the various kinds of dementia, but also found a site where people were struggling with dementia and asking questions and supporting each other. And I was totally amazed. I thought, here I am, I've been, thinking, am I doing a bad job? Am I not doing as well as I should be? And then realizing that there were these people that could support you was amazing to me. It was life-saving because I was getting a little bit depressed, thinking, what can I do or how can I manage this better? So, to make these services available to me are wonderful.
That's so great. I'm glad you shared that. I was a caregiver myself for my great aunt. I've been a caregiver for several people, but caring for my great aunt who had Alzheimer's was the hardest thing I've ever done. And I remember having some anxiety attacks. I was newly married. I didn't know my husband had mental health issues, and I found that out. And it was the hardest thing. We had been married for 5 months and moved in with my great aunt to help take care of her for 5 months. And it was very, very hard. And I felt alone too. And there was nothing available that I saw. And then I got this job. I worked at a nursing home for about 3 years after this. And then I got this job at MAG and they let me start this caregiver program. And when I started the program and I started doing support groups, I started to heal because there were some things I thought, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that to my aunt. And then as I got going, I was like, okay, that wasn't even bad at all. But it took me a long time to even say it out loud. And I'll tell you what it was. So it's so funny because I carried this guilt with me because it was my great aunt, and you don't treat your great aunt that way. So I was 25. It was a year when it was just snowing like crazy, and we were just shoveling and shoveling and shoveling, and she kept coming out and saying, "You need to shovel this mess," and like she was just getting upset with us all the time. And I was tired, I was exhausted, and I was upset. And it was like several times she'd come out. So finally, I went up to her. I didn't say one word. I went up to her. She's a tiny little lady. And I took her by the shoulders and I turned her around gently. I walked her into the house, turned her around, sat her on a chair, and said, "Stay." And I felt horrible. And as I've done, it was so mild, right? But I didn't treat my aunt that way. I felt like I was treating her like a dog, and I just felt so horrible. And as I did the support groups, I was like, okay, that wasn't bad at all. Like, I actually did pretty good at 25, right? So anyway, I didn't say a whole lot of words. And I totally understand how caregivers are. I mean, we would hide from her because we'd try so hard for her to not hear us come in the house because we knew it would be mayhem if she knew. And she always knew. I don't understand because she had hearing loss, but she always knew. And I will tell you one other thing we did. We hid. My husband rigged this. She could come down to our apartment anytime she wanted. There was no door between. So he rigged this line across the stairs, all the way down the stairs, down the hallway, put a ping pong ball a light. It was a light bulb on top of this duct tape. So if she came down, it would push that along the hallway and we'd know she was coming. Well, when she did that, we'd know she was coming, and he ran and hid in the shower, and I ran and hid behind the bed, and we would hide. We'd blow out. Oh, we had candles going. We didn't even have the lights on. So we'd blow out our candles and we'd hide because we were so exhausted. And anyway, but there were some sweet moments too. And now it's, there's some funny things and we could laugh about it. And I remember feeling so alone. My family didn't understand what we were going through. They didn't know what Aunt Mary was like. And the only person that made us feel like we were sane was my grandfather, who was 95 at the time. We'd go to his house and he'd say, "She needs to be in that loony bin in Provo." And we would laugh, and it was like, he gets it, he understands. And that helped me so much, just to have that teeny bit of validation. And so caregivers definitely need that validation. We get it. This is very hard. And that's what the support groups do. And that's what the education courses do, is helps caregivers feel like, I'm okay. I'm not losing it. And yesterday we held a support group. One lady there said she felt like she was losing it. And she came and she said, "I think I'm doing okay. This is making me feel like I'm doing it right. I'm okay." And it just calmed her right down, just to know that she's doing the best she can. And so it's worth it, even if it just helps one person. But we are helping many. So please refer your caregivers to us and any seniors that might need that assistance. So anyway, any other thing?
There's just something that I've realized over the years about aging and, becoming like a little child again, but they also a lot of times have not worked through some of the trigger points, and everybody has trigger points no matter who you are, at what age. But this is the time that they're kind of working through it, because some of their filters are gone, or there's some bypasses in their health, or I've seen that with my 95-year-old mother, that I'd never seen her go through defiance or anger or the grieving process but I recognize it because of many things that I've studied and gone through, and just realize where you are, that you can get better at it, at the grieving process, but to see kind of where those steps are, and that this is part of their process understanding themselves, and even if they don't, because they might not even mentally be there, but
Mhm.
those emotions, like there's a book called Feelings Buried Alive Never Die.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of other things. And yeah, it's been decades of study on my part just because of what I wanted to do. But it's just helpful to have that compassion, not take it personally, and like, you know, kind of have that little shell, but still reason with
Mhm.
them and not treat them as a child, but then still, you know, that's the hard part. Is-
Right.
is
Yeah.
Sometimes they like, well, I know how to do this, and oh, you
Right.
sure do, you know,
Right.
and like,
They
oh,
act
good
like
job,
children, but
and
they're adults. Yeah.
they do
Yeah.
respond to a little cheerleader, you know, voice though too. If you
Mhm.
can just be that, if we can
Yeah,
do that.
that's true. That's true. Anything else? You guys are doing an amazing job. There's a lack of help in the community, and so the fact that you're doing this is incredible. Even I just admire what you do, because I know it's not always an easy job, and I'm sure you have some that are challenging and some that are super sweet and easy. But either way, the fact that you're here and you're doing this and you're willing to do it is really great, and I applaud you for that. And I mean, I have a disposition where it's a little hard for me to do the personal care piece, and I admire anybody who can do that, all that personal care for people, and I just think you're awesome.
Thank you, Jerry. Appreciate you coming today. Appreciate your demonstration. I'm just going to go ahead and close this so that will,
Close it. There we
yeah,
go.
that'll,
Perfect.
yeah. But we have a, wow, how rude. Oh, and now it's just doing the, all right. Boy,
There you go.
shows who's got the power. Anyway, we want to give you a little gift
Oh,
for
that's
coming.
sweet.
We
Thank
appreciate
you.
you taking the time and putting this demonstration together. I saw some of you taking pictures. I've asked her to send her a copy of her PowerPoint so that I can send it out to you. And I'll send it to those that are going to be watching this online, because I know the lights make it so that it's hard to see these. So, but we sure do appreciate it. Like I was saying, or she mentioned, I did my internship at MAG when I was graduating my last semester of college, and I enjoyed getting to know everything that MAG does and the services they provide for the elderly, older adults here in the Utah County, and it's just so amazing. And then you take what Aspen Senior Care does, and it's just amazing to be part of this line of work and being part of the solution to a lot of senior adults, their struggles in their last years of life. So it's an honor to be part of this. We have some soup and rolls and some brownies upstairs, and we want all of you to take some of that. So if you need to just take it and run, we understand that, but you can also stay after and visit. So anyway, thank you for coming. Oh, so we were supposed to have a guy from Aflac come, and he came yesterday because we screwed up. But we have the folders and some handouts, and they're in the back. Some of you, when you came early, I gave them to you. But anyway, they're just out back there on the back table where you signed in. If you didn't,
say that relates to, like, I know what Aflac is. I used to know it.
okay.
It's just supplemental that if you want to.
For us.
So it's supplemental insurance for you if you want to sign up for it. So anyway, so that's back there. And if you did not sign in on the paper, make sure you do, because that's how we know you're here. That's how we credit you for this in-service, and it's how you get paid for coming. So make sure you sign your name. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take that.
Oh, yes.